Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels Lockdown podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
Chris.
Lee.
Are you sure? Because you really didn't sound convinced this time, you two, on Skype.
On Skype? No, I was as quickly as I could do, as quickly as I could say things. I'm sorry if there's a bit of a lag.
Do you want to check your Skype settings and make sure you've not got the uncertainty filter on?
I literally just hovered over Skype then with my trackpad as well, just to like, oh right, I've got to check settings mid-pod.
You thought that was going to be actual advice, and it was just sarcasm.
My name is definitely Chris, and I'm definitely on Three Legs, Four Wheels Lockdown podcast.
Right,
Hello,
cool.
Good.
people.
We know where we are. How the devil are you two this week?
Not bad.
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's just life. The world's on pause, isn't it? So I'm exactly the same as I was this time last week.
Hey, I'm a little bit fatter because that's just what's happening at the moment. But I'm allowed out for exercise once a day. I tend to go out first thing in the morning, and I can't be bothered running, so I'm getting fat.
Yeah, that's well. I'm in the same boat, apart from the fact I don't go for massive walks because the little guy I've got with me can't walk long ways. And
No,
I
that's fair
know
enough.
if we go a long way in one direction, I'm going to have the little prick on my shoulders all the way back.
That's better exercise, though.
Join us next week
It
for more
is.
practical parenting tips.
Cardio and weights at the same time, Lee.
Yeah.
Well, I get my bike back this Thursday. They finally got in touch with me about 10
Oh,
minutes
right,
ago.
good.
I've only been waiting a week to find out when I can go take my bike in for getting it serviced and getting rid of the check engine light.
Yeah.
Which everyone
Which is hilarious.
Which everyone
A
looks
push
at me
bike.
funny when I say it because it is a push bike, but it is an e-bike. I've got my little hill assistance because there are some hills up here that aren't little.
You live on a massive hill, like a massive hill. to
It's
be
one of the
fair.
ones that comes with a warning sign. It's that steep.
The
Does
Isle
it?
of Man is a massive hill, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from York. That has got the profile of a pool table, and not one you find in a pub. One of the posh ones you actually find in a rich friend's house.
I don't know. York is pretty flat, isn't it? But I mean, you don't want it to be so flat that when the river floods, the entire place goes underwater.
You mean like York does every year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least once a year.
Yeah. Yeah, most people call it swimming. We call it February. So, other than not getting outside and eating too much of the wrong foods, Tesco still have Easter eggs on for £2, and we may have demolished some between us since
They
Saturday.
do have them on a very good reduced situation
Excellent.
at the moment. It was excellent indeed, yes.
I haven't been in Tesco's since before the lockdown.
Oh, you're missing out.
Me neither.
You're probably not missing out.
It suits me because it rewards like hyper organization. There are just people in there wandering around looking lost, and you can just kind of bowl past them. It's ace.
But 2 meters away, though, yeah?
Yeah. Some people are better at that than others.
Yeah.
They've also got
I've
a one.
noticed a lot of that.
Yeah, there's also a weird one-way system now which doesn't work and is very confusing.
Yeah, they put a one-way system in Marks and Spencer in town, and they put the tape on the floor to show you the arrows, like which way you need to go.
Yeah.
It's the same color as the floor.
Well, that's not ideal.
The issue.
No,
the issue
it doesn't work.
The issue with the one in Tesco is you start at, say, the bottom, and you've got aisle 1, then aisle 2, neither of which have a direction. So say you do both of the fresh, veggie aisles, so you go up
Yeah.
1 and down 2. Aisle 3, you can only go from the back of the store to the front of the store.
So you've got to then go
So you've
back up the aisle.
Yeah, you've either
just
got to
come
go
down.
back up the fruit aisle, which you've already done, or you've got to skip one, go up like the cheese aisle, and then come back down for your meat. Very
Come back
confusing.
down for your meat.
Yeah.
That sounds so wrong, but so right.
And
Go
also,
up one for your cheese and come back down for your meat.
you can't get from the milk to the bread without going through the beers.
First world problems.
It's a trap.
Yeah, especially when we get all our beer delivered these days, anyway.
I nearly cried the other day because all I've been drinking, really, because I've just been going to ShopRite, is like lagers and stuff like that. And I'm a bitter drinker, but
You're bitter
I
about
don't
you're bitter about everything.
most things. But I don't like strong beers, like strong bitters and stuff like that. And I saw the other day that they've started doing Bushy's Bitter in 2-pint milk cartons. And when I saw it, when I was I nearly cried. I was so happy. And I bought like 8 pints of it.
8 glasses a day.
Of your local brewery's bitter.
Well, you see, the thing is, I don't even like Bushy's Bitter. I think Oakle's is much nicer. But given the situation, you know, being in an apocalypse and all, it felt like it was what I needed.
Yeah.
Well, I was drinking Belgian beer in the hot tub the other night, and I was perfectly happy with that.
You got it fixed.
Yes, the hot tub is up and running.
Yes, the infamous three legs, one tub. That one really doesn't work, does it?
No.
No. 3 legs, 1 tub does sound like an alternative 2 girls, 1 cup.
That's what kind of entered my head halfway through saying it, but I was too late to back out.
Backing out is not what you want to talk about when I've just mentioned 2 girls, 1 cup.
Down the
Absolutely
cheese
not.
aisle. Or the meat aisle.
Oh, yeah, come down for your meat.
Oh, I can't wait to see the comments on this one.
Gone south very quickly.
Straight down the meat aisle. This is the first show that we've done sort of live in a few weeks, and God, you can tell.
Just think of all those new patrons we've just lost.
This is what you pay
I hope
for.
you enjoy us talking about anything other than Formula One, because as far as I can tell, we're about, 10 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned it.
We'll get there. We'll get to it.
Formula One.
It's a limited supply of Formula One news at the moment, so we've got to pace
I know.
It's like Sean said the other week, there's a war on, we're rationing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, plus this is 3 legs, 4 wheels lockdown podcast, so
You notice how I didn't say F1 podcast at the start.
I did notice. Yeah,
I've just talked about my aggressive racing strategy to get around Tesco, so that's on theme.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to grudge on everybody out of the way from a distance.
Yes.
Oh no! Do you have to pay for your trolley when you take it back damaged?
No, that's they're good. They don't charge excess.
But she's writing a recipe book for next year. There is sort of some Formula One related stuff to talk about this week, actually, because it's looking likely that we could see some racing in Austria. They're aiming for the 5th and the 12th of July.
Yeah, Austria's kind of like it's an open book, isn't it? There's not an awful lot of events happening at the Red Bull Ring, because Red Bull, etc. They're quite willing to move stuff around if they have to make Austria the first race of the season, which kind of lends itself to the French Grand Prix being postponed, which hasn't been official yet.
It hasn't officially happened,
although,
but France has banned all mass public gatherings until the start of July, and the French Grand Prix was meant to be on the 28th of June.
Yeah. So the the idea is to hold the Austrian Grand Prix behind closed doors.
Twice.
Zach Brown. Yeah. Zach Brown, the McLaren chief, has been speaking to the media, so we have to take what he says with a pinch of salt, because any of the patrons who were listening before we start the podcast will know that I said this is all going to be very good for Zach Brown and for McLaren, the way he's going to interpret this and relay it to the media. He's not going to relay anything that might look bad for him, for McLaren, or for Formula One teams as a whole. They discussed a number of things. As you say, they're starting the season in Austria, and then possibly running it right through till the European season, right through till October, with the possibility of multiple events taking place at the same location.
Yeah, I mean, Austria's already penciled in for 2 races on the 5th and the 12th. Silverstone has said it's open to the idea of 3 races.
Oh, really? 3?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've canned the backwards idea, apparently.
The tarmac faces the wrong way.
Left-handed
I
tarmac.
mean, given how much shit they've had with the tarmac at Silverstone in the last couple of years, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Silverstone was the gravel traps, and it was going to take too much work to put new ones in for opposite way round corners.
Possibly.
Yeah. So we
yes.
may see 2 races at Silverstone back to back. I know we mentioned that last week, or possibly the week before. As you know, it makes sense because I think Lee said that most of the teams are within driving distance of Silverstone. It's an hour's drive from most of the factories to the racetrack. So it would make sense to have, if they had to have multiple events, they could do it there. Something else they said was to have, if they're going to have at least 8 races for a championship event, and they're giving themselves the end of January, they think the latest they can start is October.
But it's 8 races on 3 continents. That's
the moment.
That's the other caveat in the FIA rules. And changing FIA rules can be a little bit tricky. Indianapolis.
Yes, yeah. Well, they might still manage that. 3 continents, they'd have races in Europe. They'll probably get an Asian race in, and they'd get a South American race in, probably Brazil.
Yeah, because Brazil's in complete denial about the whole thing. Or Brazil's president is.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of presidents who are not taking the whole global pandemic particularly seriously, but we'll skim over that.
Well, listen, I was actually going to say I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that, regardless of how sensible it is or what's going on, that the US Grand Prix might still be on.
I think Australia could
the
come back as well.
Yeah, possibly. But the whole idea of social distancing and the lockdown and everything the world's going through at the moment, most of the world is going through at the moment, is to what's called flattening the curve, where not a lot of people die in one go, and some people will die over an extended period of time rather than lots dying at the same time. So it makes sense, if you're not going to do the social distancing thing, you expect a lot of people to die in a very short time, and then the virus to be gone before the end of the summer.
Yeah, the other thing is as well, I can see us to getting a lot of these behind closed doors races.
When I say it makes sense, I don't mean I agree with it. I don't think that's the right thing to do at all. I just think that if that's the way that certain places want to run things to get back to normal, it's morally bankrupt. But okay, you'll be back to normal sooner than the rest of us.
I mean, we've spoken about this sort of at length, haven't we? I think the problem is with not knowing even how many people are infected in the world, we don't even know what a true death rate is for it. Do you know what I mean? We could have, if the death rate is much lower than what was first thought, if this whole between 7 and 40 million people in the world have already been infected, then you could quite easily see that maybe like not just individual countries, but the world as a whole could have already hit the peak of this virus.
Yeah.
That is a point. Lee, can I just ask, you're using a Yeti tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check your settings at the back. Are you on full circle? Because you sound very echoey, so it sounds like it's picking it up from all around.
I might be on full circle, I very well might be. Yeah, I am on full circle.
Oh, you sound a little clearer now,
That's better. You now sound like you've come out of the bog.
Yeah,
you want to be on bum?
Yeah, I wasn't on bum. I was on I was on good for everybody.
The official settings.
You know me. I don't want to leave anyone out.
So yes, where were we? The backwards thing is probably going to be impossible for just about all circuits because, as somebody pointed out, most of the curbs are actually stepped.
Yeah,
they're not straight up and down, so it wouldn't work regardless of where the gravel traps are.
Yeah, but I think those that could be fixed within like a couple of days, I'd have thought. Because the circuits quite regularly, I think, replace the curbs or even change the curbs depending on what cars are racing on them. If you take bikes, for instance, I don't think they use serrated curbs, do they? Most of the time for bikes,
They do
most
not
of the time
think, no.
it's yeah. So the curbs, I think, could be it's the least of the problems, So I think that could be something that's fixed quite quickly.
Yeah,
Even without going backwards, going backwards, most circuits have multiple layouts anyway. So you might see a race at Silverstone with a slightly different layout.
They do have a couple of different configurations at Silverstone because they had a drama last year in... It was either MotoGP or BSB, and I think it was actually probably both, but part of the F1 course wasn't draining, so all the bikes were aquaplaning, and they actually ended up mid-weekend changing which layout they used.
it was BSB because MotoGP got cancelled.
Oh, yes, it did, because Tito Rabat got wiped out.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah, the only issue with running on different circuit configurations, and I know for a fact that Silverstone's got two because last year Mercedes and Red Bull both launched at Silverstone on the same day and did filming days on different halves of the circuit.
Yeah, well, they've at least got two.
There's what is it?
Yeah,
There's the national
I won't go
course,
into it.
the Grand Prix course, the Clips course. I think we've had this conversation already.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's the club circuit. But I had an email from Paul and Leslie Carter, one of the 20 people that live in New Zealand, or possibly two, unless his name is Paul and Leslie. He doesn't think that different layouts will happen because of homologation, because certain layouts haven't been approved as Grade 1 by the FIA.
This is true.
He says that there are currently 41 Grade 1 circuits, and the only venue with multiple versions is Bahrain with 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, the
Right,
endurance
okay.
circuit at Bahrain.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one they used in 2010, which was just confusing for everyone.
yeah. I did point out that special dispensation from the FIA could happen, but then he pointed out that, well, Indianapolis.
Yes.
Yeah, I think though when you get a situation like this, I think there'll be a lot more give than take in this situation. It's you're not just talking about just do us a favour so we can get a race underway. If Formula One was to take an entire year off, like a multi-billion-dollar business that it is, you're actually talking about like keeping the ongoing survival of like the biggest motorsport in the world going. So if someone wants to do or if they want to do like an alternate route around Silverstone that hasn't got the FIA pass straight away, I would imagine something like that could get fast tracked through.
I mean, Jean Todt would be able to sign it off if they managed to drag him away from whatever party he was at the time.
There actually are quite a few that have got multiple configurations with Grade 1 license. There's Paul Ricard, there is the UAE, the Dubai one, not the Abu Dhabi one. There is also the Moscow Raceway.
Didn't even know that was a
That's
thing.
a thing, that exists. And where else was it? Hockenheim. Hockenheim
Oh,
has
okay.
two configurations.
Oh, that's cool.
I did see that a fan on Twitter was saying that Estoril, it was a fan, bear in mind, so not an actual reportable source, said that Estoril has got its FIA Grade 1. Why wouldn't they go back to Estoril? And I thought, well, Portuguese Grand Prix hasn't happened since, I think we were talking about it when Sean was on, 96. And then I looked at the Wikipedia page. It does have an FIA Grade 1. So, there is a possibility for bringing back, if they want to keep it quite close to Europe and keep races behind closed doors and have as many races as possible, there are, like you're saying there, Moscow Raceway. Okay, never been there before, but what does it matter if it gives us a race? It gives us a race.
They actually have two in Portugal. They have two Grade 1 tracks.
Oh, what's the other one?
Algarve.
Oh, of course, because they do the bikes on there as well, don't they? So
Yeah, I was gonna say the bikes,
Portimao, as they would call
Yeah.
it in the bikes.
And there's nothing to stop a German Grand Prix happening again. So another last minute, last ditch reprieve for Hockenheim.
You can do 2 there. You can do it on the Grand Prix circuit and the national circuit.
What about Nürburgring?
Nürburgring has the Grand Prix circuit. That is Grade 1.
And I can't imagine they'd want to run it on the Nordschleife.
Probably that does not have a
No.
Grade 1.
But I mean, if they're going to run races behind closed doors, and they want to keep it quite, Europe central for, until the end of the summer at least, it would make sense to run as many as they possibly could, and if they can afford to, as many different tracks as they could. If they're going to be all behind closed doors anyway.
Yeah.
In
So-
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, doing just 3 tracks, you could do 8 different races. Because Bahrain has 5 different configurations with Grade 1.
There you go. So we could see a considerable amount of Asian races in, should we say, the second continent after Europe. Then they only need one more race on another continent, and then that's your world championship.
And you've got
Yeah.
Brazil, USA, Mexico, or Australia for that.
Yeah.
I think if we get racing, I do believe we'll get a championship. Like,
I think so. It may not be 21 races. More likely to be 17, 18. And it's going to be really weird having races, in the middle of August when we're not supposed to. And, that might be like round 3 in Belgium. Or,
No,
something
Belgium's
really weird
doing
like that.
nothing, isn't it? Belgium has banned everything until about October.
Right, okay, so maybe no Belgian Grand Prix.
yeah, Belgium had like a freaky death rate, haven't they, for the population?
Do you know what?
They're up
I've
there
not
with
followed their
work.
numbers, but I know their sport is just
No.
nah.
Early on, I know that they were like, we don't know what's going on. Why are so many people dying in Belgium?
Well, this is the thing, because of good old reliable British media, you tend to not know what's happened to the worst affected countries, because the British media just tends to start with the UK now and work down with it, and they just seem to accidentally forget the 6 countries above us which have got worse death rates.
So yeah, Belgium have had just short of 40,000 cases and have had nearly 6,000 deaths. So that's like 13-14% death rate.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite
insane.
high.
Yeah, and a
I think-
much smaller population than the UK.
Yeah, France have been fucked over as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had it quite bad over there.
Oh, this is remarkably cheery stuff. Moving.
You're in the middle of a global pandemic. What do you expect?
Well, what is good news locally is that the curve is...
I was going to say, to provide light relief and just give people like an hour or so away from the gloom, doom, and despondency.
No.
Too soon?
You're in it. You're in it.
Hey, I'm not.
Yeah, locally, though, the curve does appear to be almost flat at the top of its peak, looking at graphs that I keep seeing. No, seriously, I'll find one for you. I'll find it and get it to you. But
Yeah.
it's using like a 3-day average rather than just like, oh, it's today, look at that. So, it does, what we're doing and what the world is doing does work. We don't know how long it's going to take. We hope, the world will get back to some kind of normality. And if we've got to have big sporting events behind closed doors, then everyone's just going to have to stay in and watch them on TV.
Yeah, I think this is the big one as far as Formula One goes, is how much money Liberty is willing to eat up, because you can't go and charge the same amount you're going to charge a circuit, if anything, it's for them to host a race, because they've got no ticket money. What's in it for the circuit?
Yeah, at the moment,
Silverstone are very, very open. Yeah, Silverstone are very open. Apparently, Stuart Pringle, the boss of Silverstone, has said that they are incredibly open to closing. Incredibly open to closing? Yeah, incredibly open to closing their doors.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that all the circuits will do it, but it's going to be what Liberty, because it's going to be Liberty essentially footing the bill for all these races, because there's going to be less revenue coming in for them. They're going to, they're essentially doing it to keep the sport going, aren't they? To keep the interest, because you can't expect to run like, nothing for a year and then come back next year with almost identical cars that are almost like a year old and expect to keep the hype of a sport like Formula One. You know, it's when they're hemorrhaging television viewers anyway.
Yeah, didn't work for the XFL. Again.
Again.
Too soon? I'd like to apologise to both XFL fans out there.
Hey, Vince McMahon seems to be doing the absolute best he can do to not be a billionaire by the end of the year. It's amazing the money that company's disappearing through.
Well, don't forget, Florida has now decreed that wrestling is essential.
I know, it's weird.
Florida's gone through a few interesting moves, though, hasn't it, in the last week or so?
Yeah, making essential. I thought it was funny when the UK made off licenses essential, but the
vital.
Making wrestling and is it football as well? Or college football is apparently essential as well. There is another big sport that's incredibly essential and must take place because it's essential. Allegedly, apparently.
It won't be college football because the season for that doesn't start until August.
Yeah, it's a bit too soon for that. Would it be basketball? It's that kind of time.
It
might be.
Yeah, could be basketball.
Because March Madness got cancelled, didn't it? That's the big thing.
And I've just seen a comment from somebody on the Discord chat saying, to be fair, Florida thinks bagels are a vegetable.
Oh, well done, you sir. Well done.
It's golf.
Well, the same. Cake does contain all the food groups. So
there's an argument, isn't there, that chocolate is a vegetable because the cocoa bean grows on plants.
Yep.
Yeah, cows aren't. There's a lot of cow in chocolate.
just byproduct.
But yeah, golf.
Yeah, but cows eat
golf
grass,
is the
man.
other
So
Florida
it's all
essential sport.
vegan.
Well, that's it. I'm a second-degree vegan in that case.
Yeah, it's like somebody who I work with. We describe him as a savoury vegan.
Savoury vegan.
Yeah, completely vegan until cake.
Unless it's chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh. Don't you dare try replacing those eggs with avocado.
While we're on this definitely Formula One related topic, what the fuck is up with vegan cheese? Who ever thought that you could use cashew nuts and make cheese out of them?
I have not ventured
People were
into
saying
the
this about
role
milk.
of the vegan cheese.
There's another type of vegan cheese made out of yeast,
Oh, that sounds yummy.
which I always thought was a living organism. So
It's an
technically,
enzyme.
it's still living.
Yes.
I tried a vegan pizza once, and the cheese on the top of this pizza was made out of coconut, and it looked like cheese. Unfortunately, it tasted like coconut.
That's not
and
good.
It was the weird. No, not on top. Well, I mean, you are because you're still talking about a bread base with like a tomato top. No one has ever thought, tomato and coconut. There's a match made in heaven.
No. No.
I mean,
The thing is, like,
coconuts are just about as Hawaiian as pineapple, so that could be the alternative Hawaiian pizza.
No, it's a bad idea. But
Yeah.
You got the saying about making cheese from cashew nuts, but you make cashew milk and oat milk. Surely, if you just leave that to go old and a different color, isn't that just cheese?
Well, isn't cashew milk?
Well, no, because if you leave oat milk to go old in a different color, that's basically porridge.
Yeah,
I guess so.
You see, the thing is, you can't. There's a lot of
cheese.
There's a lot of nonsense with this, with the old cashew milk, isn't there? Because I don't know if you've noticed, you can't milk a cashew. So all it actually is it,
or a soy.
I think it's fermented water, isn't it? They ferment water.
I think they pulp the nuts and then they sort of put water through the pulp and it kind of distills, I think.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, something like that.
Absolute filth on this podcast tonight. They pulp the nuts.
Yeah.
I apologise.
Well, you've got to do something when you bin down the meat aisle.
Watch it, Sean.
Cheese can come down for your meat.
Watch it, Sean. You're a lady, and we know what these internet male types are like.
And somebody's just said this podcast being recorded on 420 is too perfect.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed. Happy 420, everyone.
I don't get it.
No, you're not allowed out of the house, so you can't go get it at the moment.
Right, I don't get the joke.
Chris does.
What's
Yes, I do.
420? I don't get it.
Google it.
Okay. To be fair, I've got a phone, an iPad, and 2 screens in front of me. I could have just done this without asking.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention it so that I don't incriminate myself on the podcast.
I'm just waiting for Lee's response. This is like when you're playing Cards Against Humanity and somebody always asks what certain cards mean, so you get them to Google it, but on other people's phones.
Oh yeah, the best one I've...
To smoke weed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. Sorry, because of the way the podcast's been so far, I just expected filth. That was
not quite.
That's what I expected to happen. Okie dokie.
Yeah. The worst Cards Against Humanity. This is really putting the podcast in the gutter now. The worst Cards Against Humanity card. Was playing Cards Against Humanity was somebody said, I don't know what this means, so I don't know if I can put it with it. It's just like, well, don't show anyone what the card is, and then when you're not sure if it you want to get rid of a bad card, get rid of that one because it might be good, it might not be. Oh right, okay, yeah, held on to it. It was the Bukkake Party one.
Yes, that always happens.
Yeah.
Not the Bukkake Party, but asking about the card.
Yeah, that card has been Googled.
To be honest
far
with you,
too
I
often.
can't explain how I know what that is.
I know what you mean. Like, I don't know how other people haven't come across it. Therefore, how have I? That's a poor choice. Yeah, it is the how do I know
Once
that
again,
without
Sean.
other people having known that. It's, yeah. I think other people have led very sheltered internet.
We're not going to need to do a Christmas tape this year. We'll just play this show out again.
Is there such a thing as sheltered internet?
It depends what settings you've got, doesn't it? Like some internet providers limit your access to certain websites.
Yeah, I mean, at work, at one point we were banned from looking at any gambling company websites. I work for an e-gaming company, or I work for a company that makes slot machines for e-gaming companies.
But they won't let you look at gambling sites.
Yes, even our own.
When I was
fair enough.
when I was at school, any website with sex in the URL was banned, which was a particular problem for one of my friends who was applying to the University of Middlesex.
Yes. Also, trying to get on Hotmail was fun when the school library computers, because it said hot in the URL, which was also banned when I was at school.
Just hot. That's
Yeah, well, the word hot, if it had hot in the URL, it was banned.
Are you
So
sure
Hotmail, you couldn't go to Hotmail.
Are you sure you were spelling it right?
Yeah,
You know,
but-
it's MAIL, not MALE, Chris.
Didn't
No.
matter if you put hot in anywhere in the URL, it wouldn't have even if it was website or no website. It was just like, no, sorry, the school won't let this happen.
Yeah, unfortunately for Flood, the rest of his email address was teen pussy.
A few jobs ago, about 20 years back, I got
It
dragged.
was worse than that.
I got dragged in front of the managing director for swearing on emails. I was talking to a particular supplier that was based in Scunthorpe at the time.
oh dear.
Think about it.
Yeah, S. Cunthorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had where a job that I used to work at. We had we supplied somebody in Scunthorpe, so reverse roles there. But their name was like Scunthorpe, and then what it was that they did, and the first 5 letters of the company name were the sort of account name in the software. So yeah, it said SCUNT. And yeah, and I laughed every time they were on the phone. I couldn't help it. I was only 18.
So the other big F1 news that's happened. We might as well try and get back on topic. What are we? 25
I
minutes.
guess so.
25 minutes in, and we've talked about potentially 17 races, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's
average.
good. It's good.
But yeah, the other big F1 thing, Toto Wolff has put an absolute shed load of squillions of dollars into Aston Martin. Now, this is the car company, not the F1 team to be, because he's mates with Lawrence Strulovich, which, as it turns out to be his real name.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no conflict of interest, apparently, because Daimler own a larger percentage of the company than Toto does. And
Daimler, who also own Mercedes.
Yes. And Mercedes, of course, are the engine supplier, not just to the Racing Point / Aston Martin Force Spiker Jordan India team, but also provide the engines for all the Aston Martin road cars. And
Okay.
Aston Martin claim that Mercedes and Daimler in general are their biggest technical partner. So, yes, Lee, you were right, Toto is going to put money in there, but I think you're wrong, and I don't think he's going to take over the team.
I absolutely do think he's going to take over the team.
I am much more interested in the other investor that Racing Point acquired at the weekend, which is a Swiss-Italian businessman by the name of Ernesto Bertarelli. He is the richest man in Switzerland. He is the 15th richest man in the UK, and he is a former America's Cup race winner. He is your prime rich person with too much time on their hands looking to take over a team character.
So, yeah, so there could be something in that.
I think this is one more step towards Mercedes pulling out of Formula One, and leaving Aston Martin with a headed up by a Toto Wolff and James Allison team to come from Mercedes, and they will be the de facto works team for like the Mercedes customers. I don't know what's going to happen to Mercedes. Who knows? But I don't believe. Look at what happened with like Toto when he was with Williams and buying into having shares in Mercedes, and then he ends up running Mercedes. It's the same move. He's doing the same move as he did. It's just he's going from a more successful situation at the moment.
Yeah, an early indicator would seem to be, okay, even if it is not anything to do with the race team, that there are some interests, there are some interests there, and the whole engine supply thing could easily be used to cover it up, or it's a genuine, reason for an extra investment. Don't forget that Toto Wolff is worth a hell of a lot of money and is very good at investing. So, it could genuinely be an investment as well, like a personal investment.
It could be, but my heart sort of feeling over the whole thing is what we're going to see is Toto going to Mercedes with Allison, and next year's team will be Lewis Hamilton and George Russell at Aston Martin.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to... I think that's probably too soon for it to happen. And I also don't think... I think I said this on our chat thread as well. I don't think Mercedes are the kind of team who will just be like, right, we're off then, see you later, and just pull the plug on the whole Brackley...
to be fair, that
without having like early stages... No, but without having like an early stages buyer in place. So I don't see that they would start making moves like that until Mercedes knew what was happening with that particular team, if you know what I mean. Like the Brackley team, what is now the Works Mercedes team.
But we have been talking about Mercedes pulling out of Formula One now for 3 years. It's not new.
No, it's not a new thing, but it's...
Which I still can't see them going for the time being. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Mercedes Formula One team makes a profit.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that Renault would go before Mercedes.
Oh, I think Renault might go as well. But I've got this feeling in my head with the way things are going to be financially coming out of this virus for the next foreseeable future, that you're going to see it's all the big companies are always the ones that rein in quickly, because they know how to survive and they know what they have to do. And I think that might happen with like Formula One, where you end up with it being more the privateer teams that hold it together. And Ferrari, obviously, because Ferrari's going nowhere. It lives to be in Formula One. But yeah, because you're like a Force India, for instance, be it badged as Aston Martin or wherever it is, with it being a smaller, more dynamic like entity, it's got so much more staying power if it's well funded than a whole boardroom of people that are making decisions for Mercedes.
Yeah, which is why I think if we see the end of a Mercedes factory team, they'll sell it off. And I still think Toto's more likely to head that up. And I don't think the Aston Martin investment will have any bearing on that.
It's 0.9% with no voting rights. He has no real say.
He's just put a load of money in to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a commitment. I think it's been done as like a gesture and a commitment.
No, I think it's investing in his mate's company.
Yeah, I think it's a
Maybe.
gesture towards his friendship with the Stroll.
Of itch.
Maybe. But I saw Stroll
whose phone
today,
is
actually.
not on silent?
It's my tablet. It keeps going mental over there. I buried it under a sleeping bag, a pillow, and a laptop, and that is how loud it is.
Oops. But yeah,
It's my bandmates having a Facebook conversation about University Challenge.
Oh, of course.
We are the most
somebody answered a question.
Yeah, we are. We are the most intellectual metal band on the island. Funnily enough, the drummer's not involved. He's cleaning a gutter out at the minute.
But when I lived in a house with friends of mine, we used to play University Challenge, and we'd all actually genuinely celebrate if one of us answered a question.
It is an achievement, to be fair.
Yeah, answering one question correctly on University Challenge.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to bloody mute that
Please
tablet.
do, yes, because it is
Yeah.
kicking
Go for it.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in a second.
Fugue state. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I think Renault are going to probably pull out before Mercedes. They're more at risk of pulling out than Mercedes. Given that
how many times have Renault pulled out before, and how many times have Mercedes pulled out before?
Well, yeah, look at their plan as well. They said they were going to be like aiming for race wins in 2019 and world championships in 2020. Now they weren't to know that 2020 is going to, turn out the way that it has. But
No, come on.
pretty sure.
Come on, we're 2/3 through April. They are still joint first.
Yeah, and also joint last. But yeah, I honestly think Renault are more danger. And if that happens and Mercedes go as well, you've got two manufacturer teams there who have just gone, and you end up with Ferrari being the only one left, meaning that Mercedes and Renault would essentially just be engine suppliers. I don't see Honda wanting to leave the really good tie-in that they've got with Red Bull at the moment. That seems to work for them really well. So the Honda are pretty happy with Red Bull being the de facto works team there. There were talk of, if Mercedes were to go, that McLaren would be the de facto Mercedes team again, as they were way back when. Although that might change if this Aston Martin tie-in is anything more than nothing. But it just seems a bit strange. I can't see Renault wanting to supply any teams. If they haven't got a works team in the. Red Bull were the de facto Renault team when they were winning world championships. Renault came back into Formula One. There was a big fallout, if you remember. It's just ever since then, it hasn't really worked out for Renault.
No,
no, it's strange.
Cyril Abiteboul's been taking an absolute pasting on Twitter at the minute.
No good.
When is he not? When is he? I don't remember Twitter ever being particularly complimentary.
No, fair point. No, I just happened to notice today that he was taking a bit more of a pasting than normal. Just for furloughing all his staff and not getting involved with the ventilator programs, and he's still claiming a salary from the company.
Can we talk about Ferrari ventilators?
Yes, why not?
With the Ferrari logo on.
with the Ferrari logo on and a choice of colour.
None of them being red.
It's such a Ferrari thing. Like, I'd love to know. I'd love to know if that like vanity does actually cost the production line. Do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine it costs any extra. But I mean, they're giving them away for free anyway, so it's not as though.
No. I don't mean in money. I mean cost as in time. Like, to stick that Ferrari logo on at the end of the day, if you didn't do it, what would you have another 100?
I don't think so, because I think they're doing is 3D printing them, so it will take no extra time to put that in.
I think once it's in the design, it's in the design.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it doesn't cost.
Yeah,
anything.
but you've still got like a different color resin even in the 3D print. So for that has to physically be printed in. So it doesn't matter whether it's in the design or not. If it's just all black or all white, that has to be quicker than having something black or something white in the opposing color.
Yeah, but it's to differentiate. Differentiate them as well for the next pandemic when the identical models come out with Haas branding on.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
But it just feels like when you look at the ones that Mercedes put out, which just look like things that were going to a hospital, something about it to me feels like, oh fucking hell. Even if it's the same time, like to do the two, like it has to be like this sleek design where everything's all nice and rounded, and it has to have a Ferrari logo on. And you think, fucking hell, does it not, like, can you not just leave that one fucking moment of advertising, please, while your fucking country's dying? Yeah.
Just a blue steel box with this air goes in here, and then you plug that into where the patient breathes. That's all you need. Done. Box made. 1,000 a day.
So yeah, there's just it just seemed weird to me. It made me feel a bit uncomfortable with it all.
Yeah. It's a little bit, as you say, a little bit of vanity, even in this particular situation. It looks very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that logo looks great on a shirt and some cufflinks. Maybe you get.
It's not even that nice a logo, you know. But if you think about it, if you think of all the cool logos around the world, Ferrari's logo isn't even that cool.
You're not a fan of the lovely horse, then?
No. I don't even think he's jigging, let alone fucking prancing.
Prancing horse on a yellow shield, and yet they went and made all their cars red.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, but Italian racing colour, it goes with the. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, never really known where national racing colours come from.
I'm not entirely sure where they came from either. We've talked about this before, haven't we? Yeah, the strange now, like British racing green. Like, who decided green was Britain's racing colour?
Don't know. I hope Aston Martin's British racing green.
It should be. You would hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just to bring it back from Caterham tainting it. Or Lotus, as was before.
So yeah, Lawrence Strulovich officially registered AMR GP last month, so he's obviously getting ready to start all his shit for that. So keep an eye out for that. I think that will be coming soon.
Tell you what, if I'm right and the Aston Martin's got Lewis Hamilton and George Russell next year, think of the advertising potential that is having two British drivers driving for Aston Martin.
Yeah, those Tim Hortons adverts will be incredible. Lewis will be coming out with his own brand of craft dinner.
Can't taste much worse than that monster.
No, God. Still going through therapy to get over the taste of that. Every time I see it in a shop, not like actually going to shops these days, but every time I see it in a shop before, it still gave me a chill. Shall we?
All right, snowflake.
Oh, come on! That taste has affected me for the rest of my life. It was that bad.
It is, I think, the only flavour of energy drink that I've tried once and never felt the need to give it a second go.
You know, I'd rather eat yellow snowflakes.
The way Paul was going on, you think it was an energy drink that had to come with a safe space afterwards.
I value my taste buds. I was like chewing a credit card. Don't ask. Lee, get your iPad out. Let's do a total shunt, and I think we'll make sure that we're not looking at the Discord chat while he does it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
You can play along if you're in there amongst yourselves. We're not looking, so go for it.
I'm just going to look at. Oh, I tell you what, I've got a music promotion website open here. I'll just look at that instead.
I have
Not look at it,
zero
but I'll have it.
screens in front of me. I've got my phone off to the side, but I'll just not touch that.
If I close
Would
my
that be-
laptop, then the Skype call will end. Then
Yeah,
we don't want
don't
that.
do that. Don't do that. A neutral website, not one that
Would
you've been
that be,
googling while doing Cards Against Humanity.
No, of course. Yeah, no. Good lord, no.
Would that be a music promotion website that you're going to use for Chris Full of Music at all?
I have used it, and I've got some feedback back already. I shouldn't really give third parties a good shout out, but I'm going to anyway. Because I get the feeling Lee's not ready with a total shunt yet. So
No, I'm
Grover-
ready. I was just I was giving you the opportunity to plug your music. That was all. Seeing as how I'm like your number one hype fan now.
Well, you are my number one hype man at the moment. Constantly listening to me in this perpetual Sunday in your garden. But the
Perpetual Sunday is my new pop punk band.
sounds like I thought it was more of a sort of new wave Joy Division style band.
Could be
I
emo
think
as
it could
well.
work for either.
Yeah, it could be
actually.
emo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking down the line to like Breaking Benjamin or something like that now.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I've pimped my music out to a few places using this platform called Groover, which was only launched last year. And yes, it does cost money. It's not obviously services aren't free. But about 24 hours ago now, I sent a track to 40 something. Different people who are involved in music in different ways, and they've all come, well, not all of them, most of them have come back to me, and if they don't come back to me within a week, I get the money that I spent sending it to them back.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, cool.
So, so it's in their best interests to respond. And so I've got about half of them have responded already. Somebody shared it on their Spotify playlist. And I think somebody else wants to add it to a playlist. They've requested it, which is strange because I've already given them the link for it.
They're just being super polite.
Talking of Spotify playlists, we do have one with. I do have one set up with tracks that all of us have recorded. I think Sean is the only one without any musical output on there because
I do not have any recorded materials.
you don't have any recorded musical output. You'll just stick to broadcasting it.
Yes.
So if
You should record the best of the news and put that out.
That implies I'm involved in the best of the news.
So yeah, if anybody wants a link to that, just send us a message and I'll send you a link. It's got tracks from Clan Calls for War, Uber Room, Lee's old band that does the theme tune for this show, Vito, my old band that does the theme tune for the Patreon show when we do those, the Chris Flood band featuring Dan, and the Chris Flood solo EP, not featuring Dan.
No,
but Chris is on there.
I'm on there lots.
So yeah,
Everything's got my name on it.
Yeah, likes it so much he put his name to it. So yeah, send us a message and I'll send you a link through to the playlist and you can hear what we all sound like being musical.
Good
Do it
stuff.
because more people should
ready?
hear our music.
More people
I'm ready.
should hear our music, definitely.
I should get round to recording more. But anyway, total shunt time. Who's this week's from?
I was born.
Oh, he's going straight
from
in.
Chris Kinasvik.
Oh.
This is from Chris.
This Chris that isn't me.
Yes.
This week's name mangling
was-
is brought to you by.
I was born
Good start.
1965.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right, okay.
55 this year.
My professional racing career started in 1987.
Okay.
Right,
That's
okay, so
quite
22.
My first series was F3000, finishing 19th out of 21 drivers.
You see, now that's not a great start to any driving career to finish 19th in. Well, the Formula 3000 was what's become Formula 2 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But still, 19th is not setting the world alight, is it? Do we think this is someone who might be involved in a team rather than a driver, such as an engineer or a designer or someone of that ilk?
Maybe. I mean, if they were 22 in 87, it's very possible that they could have been a driver. But for their first professional series to be Formula 3000 just seems like a hell of a leap. Why were they not in like Formula 3 or Formula Ford or anything leading up to Formula 3000?
Unless they were paying for their seats up to that point, and they actually managed to get a seat with a paid job, which was their first professional one.
So someone like Pedro Diniz, for example.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Should we go Pedro Diniz as a first guess?
Sounds like a solid start.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, good call.
Pedro Diniz.
During that season, I tested for Minardi, but I did not secure a seat.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't rule it down much because there's fucking loads of drivers tested for Minardi because when
anyone with a tenner could test for Minardi.
Yeah, because Briatore used to go around selling tests for Minardi.
Yeah.
Even though he was running Benetton and Ligier at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, next clue.
Right. Where's the nest clue? In the 3 years after I raced in the 3 years after I raced for First Motorsport, where my teammate was I can't pronounce that name.
Pierluigi Martini.
That's the fucker.
So we can rule out it being Pierluigi Martini at least.
Yeah. So how about Giovanni Lavaggi? There's an Italian paid driver for you.
Oh, God. Yeah, he had deep pockets and no talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't he get lapped in was it like the Belgian Grand Prix in like '94 or something when he was driving for Pacific? He got lapped on like lap 3.
Oh Lord, at Spa. Oh no.
It was something ridiculously early.
If him and Max Chilton were on the same bit of track, Chilton would probably go, I can have him. Maybe.
I had 2 more F1 tests for Minardi in 1992.
Yeah, we're in the same sort of ballpark as Lavaggi, aren't we? Because he was like 93, 94 ish.
Yeah.
I think, and then he sort of disappeared quite quickly. Although it does appear to be 19th out of 21 drivers in his season in Formula 3000.
Yeah, and there might be a reason he didn't stick around.
Yeah, deep pockets, no talent. That says exactly that to me.
Well, let me tell you a thing or two about 1993. In 1993, I drove in Formula One, one of 6 drivers to represent the Jordan team that year.
Oh, hell.
Okay.
93. So 1993 was in the Jordan team, Rubens Barrichello,
Not old enough.
and Eddie Irvine. They were the 2 drivers who were supposed to be permanent, but
Irvine got a ban at some point.
Irvine got a 2-race ban. I can't remember who came in for Eddie Irvine. I think Pedro Lamy came in for Eddie Irvine.
Also, wasn't 93 the year that Irvine got punched out by Senna?
Well, allegedly so, but everybody who was there said that Senna hit Eddie Irvine. Eddie Irvine said that he didn't hit him. He came very close to it, and as he leaned back to avoid the punch, he fell over.
Right, because that puts it in a better light when you just fall over casually.
Yeah, well, yeah, he said he leaned over to miss sort of dodged out the way of the punch and fell over.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, we believe you.
Are we guessing?
I was going to say, you want a guess on this one, don't you?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Pedro Lamy, then?
Could be, yeah, Pedro Lamy. I think we've already had him in a total shot at some point before, and I'm not recognising any of the clues
Yeah,
straight
he's one
away.
of those people, very familiar name, couldn't tell you a great deal about him.
6 drivers who drove. It could be Bertrand Bertrand Gachot was replaced by Schumacher, wasn't he, in '91, and
Yeah.
never came back to Jordan.
Yeah, I don't think he ever drove F1 again, did he?
No, he did. He was part
Right.
of the Pacific team, I think, strangely enough, alongside Lavaji.
I've a funny feeling that after this clue is going to be one of those if you know you know. And
Okay.
Maybe after this clue, if you don't get it, you might be in a bit of trouble for the next couple. My F1 career lasted 800 meters. I was replaced the next race.
Well, that's illustrious.
That is... Wow.
Oh, you should use the words illustrious there, Sean. After my illustrious Formula One career, I went to Japanese F3000 and won the championship in 1994.
Awesome.
So it's not Giovanni Lavaji. I don't think it's Pedro Lamy because I think he was elsewhere in '94.
I've got a feeling, but I don't know if he was actually on the... I mean, one of 6 drivers... Can we have that Jordan clue again? Just to check the wording on it.
In 1993, I drove for Jordan in F1. One of 6 drivers to represent the team that year.
So drove for him. So he's
800 meters, apparently.
800 metres, unless he was just down as a driver and didn't actually get to drive. Because the only person I can think of with an F1 career that short in distance was Perry McCarthy, the original Stig, when he was driving for Andrea Moda, because they could only really afford 1 car, but had to enter 2. So they gave him a shoebox with some wheels on and pushed him out of the garage, and then it ground to a halt because they didn't put the engine in or something.
Oh dear. Thinking of drive. Did you say you went to Japanese Formula 3000?
Formula 3000.
So are we thinking maybe somebody Japanese? I was going to say someone like Guri Suzuki, or 'cause I'm pretty sure he drove for Jordan.
Yeah, but he did.
He did more than 800 meters.
Yeah, it was usually turn 4 or 5 before he crashed.
Yeah. Same with Yukio Katayama. Many races for some unknown reason.
No, it was the same race. It's just that they were all backwards. Well, he was.
So yeah, I don't know who. I'm struggling to
it's not
think of who.
For me, that one's not done anything.
No, me neither.
Next clue.
Last clue.
Oh, no.
Oh hell!
I have competed in 5 Le Mans, not finishing 4 of them.
Well, that's
Okay.
great.
So we're looking at somebody who's not as good as Nico Hulkenberg.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
that's-
we
yeah.
are. I think we are pretty much beaten unless there's a really obvious spaffer.
There is no Spaffer.
Oh, fuck's sake.
hell! right. Best I've got is Perry McCarthy.
I don't think it's Perry McCarthy. I think he's a little bit older.
I can give you a Spaffer. It's not Perry McCarthy.
Well, thank you for that.
That's great. That narrows it down. Yeah, I'm out. I got nothing.
I have nothing.
Flood.
I can't think. I don't think Perry McCarthy raced for Jordan in 90. Was it 93? Did you say
93.
And he only did 800 meters.
This is another probably not very helpful Spaffer. I'm going to struggle saying the surname. I know I'm not very good with names, but I'm going to struggle saying this one.
Like I said when you said it wasn't Perry McCarthy, well, that narrows it down.
Yeah.
Okay,
fair.
I'm going for someone not English.
It does sound like they're going to be Japanese, doesn't it? If they're doing
It could be from
I
any
can give-
country in the world.
I'll give you another spaffer. I think I might be Italian.
Right.
Okay.
But we've kind of ruled out Lavargi because we know he did more than 800 meters.
I'm not Lavargi.
I think you're going to have to tell us who you are.
Yeah.
I am Marco Apicelia.
Nope.
Ah.
Anyone
No.
else?
I've never heard of or seen that name before.
That's not
No, I
ringing a
don't think
bell
I
for
have.
me. How are we spelling that surname?
Apicella.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go. I'm gonna Google it.
Apicella.
Apicella. Yeah.
Oh yes.
I'm
Yeah.
scrolling through him, and he's all
I do
news
not-
to me.
Yeah. Same here. Oh, hang on. There is a video here. I'm going to watch a video of Italy, 1993, his very short career. So he made it to the first turn then at Monza.
We got as far as well, a little bit of curve.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That
It was
because usually,
brilliant.
like, it's not often that people beat the team and you've still never heard of the person. I think that might be a first.
It's definitely a first in a long time. Who was it that said? Somebody said on the Discord chat the other day, the shunts are getting too easy. I said maybe write a more difficult one.
Yeah, we have had a good run.
That's a good one. I like that one. It was good and difficult.
And that was spectacularly good. Right, how do you?
I'm watching the start of his race now.
How do you send shunts in?
You can send me a tweet in a private message at a Total Shunt on Twitter, or you can send me a private message on Instagram.
Excellent. And if you want to get in touch with the rest of us, you can get us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3 Legs 4 Wheels. And go to Discord, search for 3 Legs 4 Wheels. You'll find us on there. There's quite a few people on there.
Yeah.
This is going to be streamed to all the patrons every week. You can get on our Patreon site for the occasional little extra at the moment. Full service will be resumed when the world is fully resumed, but that's at patreon.com.
Yes.
Patreon.com/3 Legs 4 Wheels. You can sign up from as little as $1 a month, and it basically keeps us going. Mm-hmm. And if you want to tweet us individually, we are all
At Sean Cowper.
At Flood21.
and at Pablo100.
I've got
I was
Marco
going to say,
Apicella's thingy up here. I've got his. Can I just do a quick commentary on the beginning of his
thingy.
800-meter career? Okay, so the race starts. The two Williamses get away well at the front. He qualified P23 out of a 26-car grid. There's a spin before they even get to the first turn, and he's in the barrier. and he's facing backwards, and that's it. He's out of the race. He doesn't even get to the first turn.
Wow.
He does. He's not. He's replaced, as the Shunt quite correctly said. He's replaced by Emanuele Naspetti, who I've never heard of either, for the next race. And that was it. So he didn't even make it to the first turn at Monza.
bloody
That's
hell.
quite something,
That
isn't it?
That is particularly impressive.
Oh dear.
Right, I think that's about it for this week. Can't think of anything else.
Nice.
No, neither can
No,
I.
that's about it. Before we go, I'll just quickly say that the listener podcasts are going quite well with Musty Audio. So if you want to call Musty Audio and talk to me about stuff, get in touch.
Any stuff? Is it just a general open stuff?
General stuff. I had James Corbett on last night, and we had a nice little chat about how things are for him, COVID-wise, where he lives, and then we had a good old long chat about Formula One for an hour.
There we go.
I've just remembered something we have missed out. Thursday night watch parties.
Oh,
We're still doing those on Discord. We're going to carry on doing them every Thursday, 8 o'clock UK time, while there's no real racing on. And what we are doing this week is throwing it open to a Twitter poll. Let me bring up the options. At the moment, we've got Monaco 82, Belgium 98, Japan 2005, or Baku 2017. If you go to our Twitter, it's pinned to the top of the profile, and vote for the one that you want to watch on Thursday. We'll stream that from F1, or you can watch it on F1 TV. and we'll open the chat room up, and we can talk about whichever classic race it is. At the moment, Belgium 98 is leading with 37%, and Baku 2017 is second with 32%. So it's still fairly,
It's all to play for.
still fairly close.
Belgium '98 is to me it's one of the great. It's, going back a little bit further. It's one of the greater races that you may have missed if you're a fairly recent Formula One fan. You need to check that out.
But I think we've gone
Crazy race.
gone for a fairly sort of wide spread of races there. Also, quick one on Formula Lee. Still got another week to run on this challenge until next Monday, and it's China in the dry in the Brawn.
Okay.
Nice.
Good luck with that.
Got another week for that. Best of luck. All being well, we will be back next week. And thanks for joining us and stay safe. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.